Well, good morning, folks. Welcome back to the farm. Yesterday was brutally cold, and today's only half a step behind. I think it's minus 26, almost 27. And I hope to spend the whole day inside. Not have to do much. Of course, I got to come out and do a little bit of chores and stuff, but not much, right? But I just got a phone call from the guy that trucks the sheep. So we had some late-born lambs that didn't direct market. I was hoping to get them to auction here end of November, and there just wasn't, when you've got a dozen or something like that, you can't exactly fill a truck, so you get to them when you get to them, kind of thing. So the guy phoned today, said he's got room on a truck, so I'm gonna feed the chickens here, and then I got some table scraps and whatnot. Then we're gonna go round up these sheep. I think before I get to the sheep though, I'm gonna throw on a pair of coveralls too, just an extra layer. There's just enough of a breeze today that it cuts you right to the bone. Just like yesterday, actually, but yesterday was worse because it was snowing hard. Oh, it's even cold in the barn here this morning, but I don't think anybody will be too upset about coming indoors with that wind blowing. I'm just gonna grab a hay bale for the calves, get them topped up with a little bit of food. And then we're going to open the big door there and let the sheeps in. The other thing I got to do is I got to get that wagon unloaded. So I let the sheep in. They can come through, go into that pen there. And then I'll take that wagon. I'll just pull it out by hand and go dump it off in the field somewhere. Because it's time to muck out the calves pen. So like a full-grown cow is going to produce like 40, 50 pounds of manure in a day, right? It's a lot. So thankfully these two ladies are just little. They don't make nearly that much, but about a week, 10 days, they can fill that wagon. Good morning, sheepy sheeps. Okay, come on in. Don't worry about the hay bale. Come on in. Come on, go down in that pen. Okay, sheep are in the barn, in the pen. I got the trailer hooked onto the back of the truck. We'll get backed up and into here. I'm not going to load them in the trailer yet because Artie's probably not leaving Fort St. John until 1 o'clock, he figures. But I want to get the trailer backed in and ready. And hey, quit peeing in the barn. Peeing right on the salt block, dirty bugger. Anyways, get the trailer back into the barn. So that's just ready to go. That's a Boy Scout thing, right? If I wait till the very last minute and then I go to try and make everything work and all lined up, something's gonna go sideways and I'm about to have a bad day. So I just want to be prepared and get it here. These guys can eat some, their last hay treat or something like that, a little bit of grain. I'm actually pretty glad to get rid of these. Not because they're really any trouble, but I mean, of course you keep them later in the year because they're underweight or whatever, because they were born late in the season. So you get to this time of year, and really for every pound you put on, you're purchasing that pound, right? So I'm going to send them to market. I'm trying to hit that certain weight to get those few cents difference, but I'm throwing those few cents into them in grain and hay and everything, and just time and labor. So I'll be happy enough to see them down the road, and then all that we'll have, everything that's left on the farm now, will be things that are actually generating revenue. All right, so the trailer's all set up. I'm back in the shop here now, and we're looking at this pretty insignificant little Rubbermaid tub full of sand. What could be in the sand? Carrots. So the wife had found on the internet this was apparently a thing. Just to store your carrots in sand, and they apparently keep quite well. So we thought we'd give it a try because we had a bumper crop last year. We had like 700 pounds of carrots, and no real way. We sold a few, but there was really no way to preserve that many carrots. So we had heard about this. So she tried it this year, just with some, sand from the dunes there, and I mean, sure enough, they're crisp, They're hard. They've kept really well. They got good coloring. They're not limp or wilty at all. So I'm really impressed with that. But as you can see, this is the kind of carrots we had this year. We did a garden rotation. We put carrots in an area of the garden that had some really firm clay. So they were pretty thin and a bit spirally, right? They pushed their way through as best they could, but they weren't the like last year's carrots where they were, 18 inches long and as girthy as your forearm. Anyways, but that should be enough to get her set for a pot of soup. And I'll put these back in the fridge for now. I don't think they need to go in the fridge at all. They probably just be fine in the cold room, but of course we got a little bit of work to do to our cold room here yet. You get temperature fluctuations and you get temperature fluctuations in the room. So we've got to do some more insulation in there, try and keep the heat of the house coming through the ceiling basically. So put some 2-inch styrofoam insulation with some foil backed insulation, seal that up, and then it'll just be much, much cooler and much more consistent temperature in there. And we can keep stuff like the carrots, the potatoes, the onions, all that stuff down in the basement. The potatoes are there right now because we actually used to keep them in the shop here. But same thing, right? I mean, we try and keep the shop 5 to 7 degrees. Well, when it hits 40 below, I got to turn the temperature just up just a little bit. And of course, you do that enough of that over the course of the winter time, and your vegetables don't keep very well. I just got to pack some water in this big jug over to the calves in the barn. We don't have a hydrant over there, or a tap or nothing. Oh, we didn't even run a water line over there yet. We just built the barn last spring. But I also got to pack water for the seep in behind the shop over there because my outside tap is frozen. I think that's going to be one of next year's projects, is to put a longer tap on so the actual stopper inside the valve is fully inside the building. Right now the stopper sits about 1.5 inches on the inside of the tin between the walls. So unfortunately when it gets to -20, it still freezes, which is not desirable at all, not very useful, especially since really when I have to run it is when the animals are up in the farmyard, which is usually in the winter time. Well, anyways, that's morning chores done. I'm gonna head in the house here now. We're gonna make up a whole mess of sausage. I won't include that in this video because I think we're actually gonna do a live stream. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put it on YouTube or TikTok, but either one, you could go to YouTube or TikTok, look for The Gentleman Farmer, and you'll see our sausage making escapades. But for now, yeah, I'm gonna go take care of that, and I'm gonna come back this afternoon when it's time to load up the sheep and haul them to town. Well, we got the mother-in-law sausage made. First 15 pounds. We had to do a quick on-the-fly recipe change when we brought everything out of the tubs. Fried up some tasters. We noticed that batch was off a little bit. It was supposed to be a maple sage kind of breakfast sausage. You couldn't really have, it had maple sugar in it, but didn't have a lot of maple flavor. So we added a cup of maple syrup to it, fried it up, bingo bango. But that took a little bit of time. Then of course there's this whole nonsense with having to load up the sheep and get them to town, which is where I'm going right now. That really kind of cramps the guy's style. But yeah, so one bowl down, 3 more to go. That's fine. I'll get these sheep to town. Hopefully that guy's sitting there waiting for me. We don't waste too much time. Also really hopeful that these sheep just glide right in there and don't fool around too much. Come on, sheeps. You can just go right ahead, just hop right in there. That'd be great. Go on, June. Show them how it's done. Come on. No. You know where you're going. Just like that. Quite nice out here now. It's actually warmed up to a balmy minus 24. I better get the barn door closed. Keep the frost off the calves. Get this way to town. Better not forget that. That would get interesting.